Today we are going to see about origin of life. Introduction: biogenesis, cosmologic theory, theory of eternity, theory of special creation, theory of organic evolution. Introduction: life can be defined as a physico-chemical entity which exhibits reproduction, irritability, adaptation, and locomotion. The problem of origin of life is still shrouded in mystery. However, there are few speculations explaining the probable origin of life. They are as follows. Abiogenesis, spontaneous generation. The formation of life from non-living substance is called abiogenesis or spontaneous generation. The belief in abiogenesis started from 300 BC and continued until 17th century. Aristotle 384 to 322 BC believed that fishes originated from mud. Insects originated from decaying meat. Epicurus 342 to 271 BC wrote that worms and other animals originated from soil and manure by the action of sun and rain. Van Helmont 1577 to 1644 believed that mice originated from wheat grains and dirty cloths. A wide variety of scientists like Thales 624 to 547 BC and Boethius believed that barnacle goose, a variety of marine bird, was attached from barnacle. Anaximander, Newton, Plato 427 to 347 BC, Descartes, Empedocles 485 to 425 BC, Paracelsus and others believed in abiogenesis. Biogenesis refers to the origin of life from pre-existing life by reproduction. This theory says that horses came only from horses, rats from rats, insects from insects, and so on. F. Reddy 1626 to 1697 was the founder of this history, and it was supported by many others like Spallanzani, Louis Pasteur, and so on. They claim that insects cannot arise from decaying meat if it is kept closed airtight. This is proved experimentally. Reddy's experiment, Reddy 1626 to 1697, boiled fishes in a flask for hours together. The boiled fishes were placed in 3 jars. One jar was uncovered, the second was covered with parchment, and third was covered with fine muslin. In few days, maggots appeared in the first jar but not in the second and third jars. Since the first jar was kept open, flies freely entered and laid their eggs on the boiled fish. These eggs hatched into maggots. Since the third and second jars were covered, the free entry of flies and the laying of eggs were prevented, and hence maggots did not appear. Spallanzani's experiment. Spallanzani in 1765 boiled meat broth for several hours in flasks, and then the flasks were sealed. The broth remained clear for several months. Then the seal was broken and the contents were tested for life. No life was found. Spallanzani's experiments were criticized by many biologists. Some claimed that by boiling he had driven out vital force necessary for abiogenesis. Gay Lussac claimed that boiled and sealed flasks did not contain oxygen and hence life did not arise. Louis Pasteur's experiment. A death blow of abiogenesis were given by the experiments of Louis Pasteur 1822 to 1895. His experiments rectified all the criticism made by Spallanzani. He selected a swan-necked flask for his experiments. It allowed the entry of free air into the flask but did not allow viable microbial particles. He boiled meat broth in the flask for several hours. Then he allowed the flask to remain unsealed for several months. No life appeared in the flask. After several months, the neck was broken and the contents of the flask was brought into contact with the atmosphere. Soon after, simple microorganisms appeared from the contents. Cosmologic theory or theory of panspermia. This theory was proposed by Richter 1865. According to this theory, the life of our planet Earth came from other planets. This theory claims that life was distributed throughout cosmos in the form of resistant spores of living forms. These spores are called cosmosa. These cosmosa reached the Earth and on getting favorable conditions, they developed into organisms. How were the cosmosa transported to Earth? Richter suggested that they reached Earth by simple floating in the atmosphere. Von Helmholtz felt that they reached the Earth meteorites. Arrhenius 1911 suggested that they reached Earth by the pressure for stellar rays. Theory of eternity of present conditions. This theory was proposed by Prior 1880. According to this theory, like non-living matter, life also existed on the earth from the very beginning. The universe is unchangeable and life also exists as such without any change. This theory is not at all accepted. Theory of special creation. This theory was proposed by Father Sudas, a Spanish monk, 1548 to 1617. It was based on the biblical book of Genesis. It says that the sun, earth, plants, animals, and man were created by God. God created man, horse as horse, insects as insects, and so on. They have been living as such without any change from the day of creation till now. Thus, this theory says that all present day species were created individually by God and they have not undergone any change. It denies the idea of evolution that all the present day species came from a single ancestor. According to special creation theory, God created the universe in 7 days as follows. First day light, second day sky, third day land, sea and plant life, fourth day sun, moon and stars, fifth day aquatic animals and birds, sixth day animals, man and woman, seventh day God rested. According to Hindu mythology, the world was created by Lord Brahma. Theory of organic evolution. Organic evolution is the evolution of organisms. The theory of organic evolution explains convincingly the origin of life. It also explains how the wide variety of plants and animals came into existence in this world. According to this theory, the world has been evolved and not been created. Life originated spontaneously in the remote phi passed from non-living inorganic substances. These substances phi reacted to the form organic compounds. The organic compounds developed into colloidal system capable of stepwise improvement in order to give rise to simple life. The simple life formed in the remote past then subsequently and gradually gave rise to more complex living beings. The present day plants and animals are modified descendants of the first formed life. The theory of organic evolution proves that higher animals came from lower animals. For example, coelenterates came from prozons, amphibians came from fishes, reptiles descended from amphibians. Biochemical origin of life. Biologists of the present day strongly believe that life originated in the remote past from chemical substances. This theory is called biochemical origin of life or molecular evolution. This theory was formulated by Haeckel but developed by O'Brien 1922 and Haldane 1929. This theory is a new version of abiogenesis. This theory suggests that life originated from simple inorganic substances. These substances are transformed into organic substance which are transformed into a colloidal system to produce life. The origin of life involves the following steps. Origin of earth, formation of water, ammonia and methane, formation of micromolecules, formation of macromolecules, formation of nucleic acids, formation of nucleoproteins, co-curvation, pre-cell or protocell and pre-cell to cell. Origin of Earth. The origin of life on our planet Earth is closely related to the origin of Earth itself. It is believed that Earth was formed from the Sun some 5,000 million years ago. The Earth as a piece was broken from the Sun and the piece gradually moved away from the Sun. When it was broken from the Sun, it was glowing fire containing a molten mass of gases and vapors of various elements. The temperature was very high and it was about 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. As the earth was moving away from the sun, it was getting cooled. This led to the condensation of gases. The heavy elements like iron, nickel, etc. occupied the core of the earth. The highest elements like helium, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, etc. occupied the atmosphere of the earth. Life originated only from these elements. These elements underwent a series of progressive change for thousands of millions of years, resulting in the formation of life. The chemical changes leading to the formation of life is called chemical evolution or molecular evolution. Formation of water, ammonia and methane. The primitive earth contained a large amount of hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon and oxygen. Of this hydrogen was very active. It combined with nitrogen to form ammonia NH, with oxygen to form water HO and with carbon to form methane CH. As the temperature of the earth was high, ammonia and methane remained as gases and water as superheated steam. As years passed, the temperature of the earth came down, steam condensed into water and resulted in rain. Since the earth was very hot, the rain droplets evaporated immediately on reaching the earth. Again, rain was formed. This process was repeated for millions of years, and the surface of the earth became cooled. Water gradually accumulated, and this led to the formation of rivers, streams, lakes, seas, and oceans. Compounds like ammonia, methane, etc., were dissolved in rainwater and were accumulated in the sea. Mineral rocks also dissolved, leading to the accumulation of minerals and salts in seawater. Thus, the first chemicals formed on the earth were water, ammonia, methane, etc. Formation of macromolecules. The next step in molecular evolution was the formation of micromolecules, molecules with a molecular weight less than 100 daltons. Amino acids, fatty acids, monosaccharides, purine, pyrimidine, adenosine monophosphate AMP, adenosine diphosphate ADP, adenosine triphosphate ATP are some of the biologically important micromolecules. They were produced by the combination of already formed compounds and elements. These combinations required energy. Energy was obtained from the sun, lightning, and volcanoes. Formation of macromolecules. The next step was the formation of macromolecules. When the macromolecules were formed, they combined in various ways to form large molecules called macromolecules. They consist of proteins, lipids, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, nucleoproteins, etc. The combination of smaller molecules into macromolecules is called polymerization. Two amino acids join together by the elimination of one molecule of water. The molecule containing two amino acids is called a dipeptide. More and more amino acids were linked together to form long polypeptide chains. The polypeptides were linked together to form proteins. Moody 1970, Fox and Dose 1972 suggested that proteins were the first macromolecules to be originated during molecular evolution. The first formed proteins were called protoproteins. Formation of nucleic acids. The next step was the formation of nucleic acids. They are formed from phosphoric acid, sugar, purines, and pyrimidines. In the formation of nucleic acids, first of all, nucleates were formed. The nucleotides included purine sugar phosphate and pyrimidine sugar phosphate. Thousands of nucleates were linked together in different combinations to produce nucleic acids. Conservation. When large molecules were formed, they underwent aggregation and precipitation in the sea. The aggregation and precipitation of macromolecules led to the formation of organized structure called cochrawaves. The formation of cochrawaves was called cochravation. Cochrawaves were distinct colloidal droplets appearing in the sea. These were distinct bodies which did not mix with the surrounding seawater. They contained protein, nucleoproteins, and other organic and inorganic molecules in various ratios. The surface layer of the cucurbit had the ability for selective absorption of substance from the medium. Operin considered the cucurbits as the sole living molecules which gave rise to cells. Fox 1965 named the colloidal droplets cucurbits as microspheres. They exhibited certain properties of cells. The salient features of microspheres were as follow. First, they were spherical, microscopic, and uniform in diameter. They are stable. They had double layered boundaries around them. They had motility and growth. They had the capacity for binary fission, budding, and fragmentation. Pre-cell, protocell. The first living form is called pre-cell, protocell, or protobiont. It originated in the sea spontaneously. The protocell was spherical in shape. A double-layered membrane was present around it. It exhibited reproduction by budding and mutation. The protocells were heterotrophs. They obtained the energy from the fermentation of organic substance which were dissolved in the sea. Thus, the protocells were anaerobic. Pre-cell to cell. When the protocell developed the DNA RNA system, it looked like a bacterium or virus. The DNA acquired the ability for self duplication and protein synthesis. Thus, life originated after a long process of molecular evolution. It is believed that the first organisms were heterotrophs, anaerobic. They obtained energy by the fermentation of organic substance dissolved in the sea. As there was fermentation, more and more carbon was liberated into the atmosphere and the food resources were exhausted gradually. It was at the time that chlorophyll molecules were formed. They were used for photosynthesis. Thus, heterotrophies were transformed into autotrophies. During photosynthesis, oxygen was liberated into the already oxygen-free atmosphere. Thus, when life activity started, the atmosphere was changed into the anaerobic condition. Thus, the origin of life in Earth took place. Thank you.